Hi guys and welcome back to DreamHack Valencia here in Spain. This is the Grand Prix tournament and round 6 is about to start. Actually, players already started. My name is Nimsh and I'm here with Lothar and Sodal to bring you the next match. Lothar is reading a very interesting book right now, trying to increase his reading skill.
+1.
+1. Nice. Congrats, man.
him.
And the next match is going to be Hotform versus ikealyou. So I was able to talk to the Illuminar Honor Gaming guys for just a moment. I didn't even know that Frodan selected that match because both ikealyou and Hotform are 4-1 at the moment. So
Yes.
I would not say it's an elimination match because whoever loses will be at 4-2, which is still a really good score. So they have a good chance to get to the top 16. But Lothar, you're really good at like Swiss and like who gets in, who doesn't.
Well,
If-
you know,
Pressure's on now. like,
pressure is on.
all,
Yeah,
all you,
exactly.
Lothar, go.
Yeah, well, you know, it's really hard to estimate it without seeing the tiebreakers right now. And to be honest, I didn't see the tiebreakers for either of those players. But I would say in the middle of the tournament, right, like in this situation, it's a case that you can get into the top 8, into the top 16, even if you lose at this stage of the game.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we have an even number of players, and second of all, we have still the same amount of rounds. Although in the previous DreamHack summer we had 50 players less, right? So there's the cut will be actually way higher, which is unfortunate for the players that will have a 7-2 score in general. So I would say it's a do or die anyway, right? For most of those players.
Most likely because DreamHack Summer, there was the one player with 7-2 that didn't make it. It was Pavel, and he only didn't make it because of the tiebreakers. And here, I think it's estimated that around 10 people with 7-2 will not make it to top 16.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, that's quite a lot, I would say, right?
Yeah.
When I think about it, because that means that usually a top 32 on a huge event is also something like an achievement, right? But it doesn't get any recognition. And in this case, yeah, you have a 7-2 and you have a 26th place, and it kind of sucks, right?
Right. Especially because of the point I made earlier, where there'll be 5 players who finished 7-2 who have come down from 7-1. So like they're pretty much already locked up, and like the rest of you are fighting for that last spot, or the last. spots on
Usually
the
they
way
are,
up, so, yeah.
unless the people that have like a a 7-0 score, I don't know. Let's say a ridiculous thing will happen, and both of every single of their opponent drops out of the tournament with only losses.
Yeah.
All right, guys, the game is ready. Hotform told me this is the first time his warrior is not banned, and he told me that there are some surprises in the deck. So have fun casting, Sodal and Lothar. Take it away.
Thank you, Nimsh. And we're starting up with a warrior versus a druid, double Wiregrove Innervate, who knows, and a Harrison Jones shenanigans against a warrior.
Yeah, this interaction could actually go really, really well for ikealyou. If he just goes coin, wild growth, in the meantime, Hotform will probably equip a Fiery War Axe and pass.
Yeah.
So this could actually get very messy very quickly as that Harrison comes out.
I really like equipping the weapon at some point of the game in the early stages, because you will have most likely not enough time to, put it later on. And the surprise factor is not as important as the tempo gain that weapon gives you, right? Innervate or Wild Growth? I know what you want to ask, right?
Yes, I was going to ask what ikealyou is going to do. I know that, like, personally, I think the wild growth is 100% correct here. But I was wondering, like, he picked up the wild growth straight away and then paused for a second as if he was thinking about innovating out straight away. But, it would be a pretty god read from your opponent to say, okay, I'm going to waste one of these charges on your face right now just to play around Harrison. I mean
this is ridiculous.
You're playing
right?
against Yogg Druid for one. How often do you see a Harrison in a Yogg Druid? So.
Yeah. So next to me we'll have actually 8 mana with the Innervate, which is unfortunately not enough to play the Nourish next turn with the Fandral, because that would have been sick.
Well, he does have Fandral Living Roots already available to him, and he does have one more draw here to try and pick up something else to go with it. So straight away, he's managed to do something that's kind of difficult to do, which is ramp and draw cards at the same time without really losing tempo on the board.
Yep.
That's just kind of the power of Harrison. Like, he's comfortable on the board, he has plenty of cards, and he has the mana advantage. So it's pretty much a dream start for
you
the Druid.
destroyed a card from your opponent. So that's you can make a comparison to the old Ancient of Law in this situation, because it draws you 2 cards with a 5 attack body, right? But then you also sniped a card from your opponent that didn't give him anything. It actually cost him mana and didn't get any benefit. No damage was coming from that weapon.
Disciple of Cthulhu and Bran have been drawn recently by Hotform, so it looks like this is most certainly a Cthulhu warrior from him, but it sounds like he said to Nimsh that there are a couple of surprises in here. I don't think we could quite qualify Harrison Jones as a surprise in tournament format, so...
Nor the Gorhole, to be honest.
I'm waiting to see what the twists are that Hotform's packing in here, but demanding the execute, demanding the big answers already with that Ancient of Wars come down so early into the Warriors' 5-mana turn, so already things are threatening to snowball here.
Okay, well, it's kind of awkward to deal with the 5/10 minion that is staring at your own face.
Yep.
But he has access to double brawls. There's a way of making a comeback even if you lose the board, but ideally you would like to use those brawls when your opponent is putting a Violet Teacher on board and just, you know, close up the board with those pesky 1/1s which will become 2/2s or even 3/3s, right?
Yeah, also, just as the Druid player in this situation, you can get a feel for the texture of the game. You've played a 5/10, like the biggest individual threat in your deck a lot of the time, and it's stuck to the board, which means there's no good single target removal in your opponent's hand. So why play a second minion and open it up to Brawl? You can just beat 5 damage a turn to face and win the game that way until it gets answered.
Yep, that's very correct. We'll see what it might keep. Well, this is one of the minions that can actually play. I would say.
Honestly wouldn't be surprised, yeah, to see Nourish for card draw here and just see what happens. Like, there's really no reason to commit extra minions here.
Well, especially when you have 2 Nourishes, right?
There's a Raven Idol, probably better off holding that for Fandral next
Oh
turn.
my.
Ooh.
Oh my. Well, this is something that will be very impactful with Fandral in the upcoming turns.
Great. Interesting. Trading into the 3/5. I wouldn't have minded just the preemptive hero power into it. You have plenty of health to play with right now, and you put it as a 3/4, and then next turn you're just setting up straight away for the Fandral Wrath to take it out and just slam face for another 5.
And you Raven Idol, so you get a minion from it at the same time, right?
On the next turn?
Or yeah, I mean on the next turn, yeah,
sure.
With the Fandral.
Yep.
It's kind of interesting because you lost 5 damage because of that, and you know that your opponent doesn't have the execute, right? So he will have to drive that minion into the Ancient of War phase anyway.
Yeah. I mean, the situation that occurred, that is just 5 damage being missed, because I'm sure we would have seen the same play happen if he'd have hit phase.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
The trade and or how he'd just be in a much scarier position right now, but you know, ikealyou took the conservative line that didn't get blown out by potential execute, but like I said, he's kind of proven
oh my god!
The execute was not in the hand. Wow.
Innervate. What?
Fandral into Fandral is kind of nuts.
That is a ridiculous. Yesterday I was talking with who I was talking to. I can't remember, but I was talking with someone, and I said that this deck operates solely on the insane power of Fandral. The deck is completely different if you have a Fandral in hand or not. And with 2, this deck is super consistent, I would say.
Yeah. I think what we should do with this deck is just like refer to it by a different name every time we cast it. So everyone calls it Yogg Druid, and then like one day we'll just call it Fandral Druid, and the next day Violet Teacher Druid. Just pick a card and name the deck after it. That seems to be the naming system. Because like they're all win conditions, right? All of those things can end up winning the game for you. So I think Frodan was talking earlier about how the name Yogg Druid is a little bit unfair. It's not like an all-in Yogg deck. It just has a ton of win conditions, and Yogg is like the final one if all your initial ones have failed. So.
That's true. Kind of unfortunate for ikealyou that he can't really use the Feral Rages while he has now the second Fandral on board, because that's 8 attack and quite a lot of armor at the same time. Second Brawl is being put, and its Fandral dies. To be honest, this Hotform is actually looking to slowly stabilizing in this game. If you will draw a single Shield Bearer with the brand, that's 20 HP. By the way, that's kind of ridiculous, right?
It's a big number, yeah.
It's like 2 digits, but with a 2 in the beginning. So
yeah.
like, yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. It's a large number. It's 66% of your starting health. Like, that's kind of nuts. But yeah, I mean, he only has an 8/8 Cthulhu right now, though, I believe.
Oh, he has Cthulhu's Chosen.
He does have Cthulhu's Chosen in his hand, but I think Hotform is considering whether he wants to tank this damage right now, or whether he wants to armor up Shield Slam to preserve some of his health. So like the Cthulhu's Chosen is like the braver long-term play, because then you've invested in that Shield Bearer and Twin Emperors that you might draw in the future. But you don't have those cards right now, and you're kind of just scared of the damage that you're taking here.
Well, he plays double shield blocks, right, in this deck. I'm assuming, because he has Shield Slams, right? So I would not blame him to go with the trade with the weapon. I would love to play just Katoon, because then you have the top decks, the insane top decks, right? Because you're already on 10. Everything is like kinda triggered, right? Twin Emperor is a great top deck then, because now it's kinda useless. Shield Bearer the same, right? You would have to play the Katoon Strongest and the Shield Bearer, so you lose the combo power with the Bran. And the same goes with the Twin Emperor. You can play Bran and Twin Emperor after 2 brawls. That is sealing the game, most likely.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and then the Nourish here is important because he didn't really have anything proactive in his hand to do. So Emperor Thorasan coming down here, it's not really too much about discounting this hand. It's more about just getting a 5/5 on board, and he's just gonna... Did he actually just jam the 2 damage?
Yeah,
nice.
That's an Arcane shot. Woo!
Nice!
Bing!
Arcane shot to the face. Get it done.
I mean, he's only worried about second Shield Slam, right? Because of that.
Sure.
That's the only reason why we would do that.
Yeah, he just wants to tank the 5 damage. He's already seen 1 Ghoul as well, so there might have been more value long-term in having the 1/1s on board. He's seen 1 Ghoul, 2 Brawls being used. So, yeah, it makes sense that, like, long-term, the 1/1s would probably do more damage on the board. But like you said, he just wanted to get rid of that Shield Slam and make him face tank the 5 if he wanted to remove it. There's the Yogg.
There's the Yogg, but I believe... Oh my, how many spells were played? 2 Innovates, 2 Wild Growths, 2 Nourishes, Coin, and
Living Roots,
Living
Swipe.
Roots,
He's played a bunch.
Wrath,
He's
Swipe.
played a bunch.
There's like a lot of cards. But do you want to play it right now, when it's the on minion, or do you want to still get more spells?
It's fine. I like...
Raise the Shadows, multi-shot,
it's a decent situation because, you know, it's not like a do-or-die Yogg. The timing of Yogg's pretty important because you want to play it where it has a good chance to do good things, but you don't just lose if it backfires.
Oh my god, I damaged his face from the lay on hands! Because of the...
Embrace the shadows!
Because of the Embrace the Darkness! Oh my god!
There you go, the BM Wind Fury followed by the Storm.
This is ridiculous when you think about
Body
it.
Wrath! No.
Oh.
Close.
Ice Block!
Fusion's no good, Deadly Shot's no good. Alright, I mean, sure, we'll take 8 damage and killing a
8
6/3,
damage and draw 3 cards.
Yeah, and kill a 6/3. And play an Ice Block.
God, that was just ridiculous.
And this is the thing about Yogg-Saron, right? It's like people wouldn't even consider that like a crazy good Yogg, right? But it was good. Like, good things happened.
Okay, dude. 10 mana, you dealt 8 damage, you draw 5 cards, and you play a secret from without a mad scientist, right, for 0.
Yeah.
That is like alone.
And killed a 6/3.
Yeah, that's alone like worth always playing, right?
Right.
So this was like an amazing Yogg.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, but the perception of like when people freak out and be like, oh wow, that was an amazing Yogg, it's when you cast like Call of the Wild and kill all your opponent's stuff and play like
that
6
doesn't really
secrets.
matter.
Right,
Right,
exactly. But yeah, it's just a really consistently strong card. That's the thing that people are starting to come to realize. If
So
you play
that's
like
lethal, right?
the sweet spot number of spells,
Yeah,
double
double
swipe.
Feral Rage and
yeah,
swipe
double Feral
and
Rage
kill
and
card. There's
swipe,
even one
sorry.
off.
Yeah.
I mean, the one over. So the lay on hands was actually ridiculously important here because of the fact that otherwise Hotform had the options to now armor up for 4 every single turn, and he still had 2 Shield Bearers and a Twin Emperor in his deck. If he would have drawn one of those cards right now, he would have gained at least 20 HP or just not be killed by those Savage Roars or Feral Rages, right? So kinda unfortunate for him.
What I would add, though, is that he was forced to use both Brawls by the early pressure, and we hadn't seen Teachers yet.
Yeah.
And ikealyou had like a crazy discounted spell hand that he could have like made like incredible Violet Teacher turns with. So
But he had Katoon.
he did have Katoon, yeah.
So that's like an additional answer to the Violet Teacher. This is the first one, right?
Yeah. Anyway, we are going to see Tempo Mage now from Hotform. It's his go-to deck in this tournament, apparently. I just spoke to him before this, and it's gone 7-1 for him, I think he said. It's 7-1 or 8-1, something like that. So
a
he's
big number.
A big number and 1, yeah. His list is the list that he popularized, the list that he hit rank 1 legend with, Acolytes of Pain, Blood Mage Thalnos, all the cycle.
One
and then
Acolyte
just
of
all
Pain,
the
right?
burn. It's 2. There was definitely 2 in his original build. I'm not sure if he changed it after that.
I'll have to see, but I kind of believe it's 1, but
Okay.
it's not important.
Well, I'm sure we will find out. So there's a Raven Idol, looks like has been cast here. We're not getting to take a look at the options.
Well, he has nice card back. This is the esports event card box.
Yeah. Picks up Force of Nature.
That's actually a good card against Tempo Mages, because it trades with all those pesky 3/2s, which are now 4 in the deck. I mean, not the same turn, because they don't have charge anymore. But at least it's playable on turn 5.
Sure. Hero power on turn 2, definitely not what you want to be doing as a druid, though.
Yeah, ideally, you want to innervate a 4-drop or Wild Growth.
Yeah, but the Sorcerer's Apprentice is going to come down here as a threat, so at least here, even without a decent turn 3 in his hand, at least he has Living Root, so he has something to do. But this is the kind of draw that can occasionally happen to this deck, where it's just a bit slow and clunky at the start. It just draws a bunch of removal spells and situational cards, which there are naturally a lot of in the deck, being a very, very spell-heavy Yogg deck, so... he's off to a slow start here, but the Tempo Mage isn't just running away with the game, which is what Hotform would love to be doing here. Just an Acolyte of Pain down on board for pressure. Does pick up an Innovate now, but a little bit late to the party and nothing really to spike into too effectively. So just going to go ahead and swipe this Acolyte, or at least thinking about it. What do you think about swipe on the Acolyte here?
I like it, to be honest. Because you don't want to give your opponent access to card draw in this matchup. Like, you know, Tempo Mage is actually just based on the fact that you use kind of underpowered spells in combination with the Flamewaker or spell power, so you can shoot your, your hand can be empty pretty fast, right? So that Acolyte of Pain is actually a huge deal in this version, especially when you take into consideration that Roaring Torches actually add up to the number of cards in your deck, so you have less chances of drawing something maybe more important, right, than the Fireball, additional Fireball.
He gets a Servant of Yogg from Mulch. Mulch is on form today.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a Tyrion, but
yeah.
it's still good.
Yeah, but it fits thematically with the deck, right? Just jam a Servant of Yogg in there, why not?
But look at that Arcane Blast. That is ridiculously good.
Do you missiles, though, to preserve the potential value of the blast? I mean, Hotform's a dreamer. He believes.
This is 66%, right, to kill it? Okay.
Because of the spell damage, yeah, it's his favor to kill it, so why not?
So, Force of Nature is being played until 6.
Yeah, it doesn't get to immediately kill this Azure Drake, though, which is a bit of a problem.
You are right. This is the second Acolyte of Pain.
Yes, there you go. So yeah, this deck is really cycle heavy, and it doesn't play the Flame Strikes and stuff that RDU's list plays. It really is just load your deck with burn, then draw that burn, then kill them. Like, it's a very simple but very elegant strategy, which is, I have cards that just shuffle extra fireballs into my deck, so then I just want to draw through my deck and get them.
Most likely my cards have fire in its name, and they were going to kill you.
Yes. Likely things that I point at your face are going to hurt, and that's the plan.
Forgotten Torch, kind of an overkill. Still a decent option for this turn. I just ignore the last treant. Although I think the Azure deck is less powerful now. Even if you have the Arcane Blast, it's still, I think, less powerful than the potential additional damage on the mana burn.
Yeah, that was my concern. It's like, how important is that Arcane Blast in your hand, preserving the value of that? But there's a lot of removal cards that would tidy up this board, even if you took the trade into the 2/2. You're looking at a decent swipe hero power turn. You're looking at Living Roots being good. So trading into the 2/2 just doesn't even really mitigate you that much damage overall. They're just going to drop down the Violet Teacher here without getting any immediate value out of it. Which generally, if you drop a single minion against Tempo Mage, you can most of the time expect them to have a good answer to it, because they play so many combinations of spells between the extra torches, the fireballs that are already there, Frostbolt, Arcane Blast, Arcane Missiles, etc. Like, they're very, very strong at just being able to deal with this kind of situation, just removing minions that you play. So you really do need to find a way to tempo out against them, like removing minions and playing minions at the same time, or just flooding a bit wider and hoping that they don't have like the less frequent AoE removal in their deck.
Yep, that's correct. I mean, the problem is that's still staring at that mulch effect, is that Yogg-Saron Servant is a card that is very swingy, but not in the way that Yogg is, because most likely Yogg, when you have a lot of spells, will be more beneficial for you, because you have bigger access, like you have wider pool, right?
Yes.
But with Yogg-Saron Servant, it's like kinda, I either really destroy something from my board or just gain a huge tempo swing against my opponent, and most of the time it's not really neutral, right? So it's kind of like a really tricky card to play, and I believe Hotform will be keeping it in his hand till the last moment when he's like really pushed to use it.
Sure, yeah. I mean, you don't need to run the risk of playing it when you're in a comfortable position, just in case, it throws a fireball at one of your own minions or something. There's just no reason to ride that line, so I'm sure he will hold on to it for a while. And yeah, this is a man that knows how to play some tempo mage.
I was thinking about actually pinging the Acolyte, but this is fine as well, because actually you use 2 hero powers for 1 mana and you generate 2 minions, so that's kind of sick.
Yeah, so
seems like a Yogg, right?
Yeah, he's going to get the hero power in, he's going to innovate the Yogg. Will wait to attack until after playing the Yogg, I'm sure, because he can get additional power onto his attack from things like Savage Roar.
Oh my god!
Straight away with the Pyro!
Oh my god, Pile Blast to the face. What just happened?
Alright, Demon Fuse, okay. Sure.
Holy Light, will it heal back? No. Okay, free shoot, that isn't bad. Dart Trap, Divine Favor, ridiculous.
That should be about it, right? Yeah.
ikealyou has to be happy with his Yoggs, right?
You think
in
that
this
one was okay?
I think it was okay.
It didn't. I mean, when you play Yogg, you generally play it with one thing in mind, which is first and foremost, you want it to nuke the board. I think if you fail to do that, it's almost always regarded as a failure.
Well, I think Pile Blasting his face was actually
I mean, that's a
okay,
win,
right?
sure, but it's not like he's in a position to be imposing damage right now. He's kind of behind the play.
I agree about that, but at the same time, you have to take into consideration there's a Dart Trap, which will most likely kill a minion at the same time.
Very true.
And I would not consider a Yogg a failure when it's still standing.
Sure.
Right? You played a minion, it's still there, it did something. Like it played a Pyroblast, it did get you a Dart Trap, it did get you draw 2 cards, and remove the Flame Waker, which has insane value for your opponent, right? So I would say this was a successful Yogg.
I'd say, yeah, I mean, it was okay. It's like kind of like what I would expect a 10 mana card to need to do to be playable. So yeah, it's fine, but it's not on the level of some of the nuttiness that we've seen so far today.
And the Dart Trap will now kill a minion or deal 5 damage to the face.
He killed the sheep, I think. He lost the border.
I think so, yeah.
Unless he just queued up the attack. Actually he just queued up the attack really quickly, that's why.
What is with this bug that is actually like, the second rope? Like, what is this?
I didn't notice. Second rope?
Yeah, like when you're roping and you click on button, then you have additional animation of the rope that is literally going super fast, like five Nosdormus effect.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. Cards on the table, I have no idea what you're talking about right now.
So our second Arcane Blast is in the hand, and you have an Azure Drake and a Cold Sorcerer.
You do. That is a lot of spell damage.
6 damage from a single Arcane Blast.
And
8 damage from Roaring Torch.
8 damage for 3 mana is pretty efficient, so he can now...
He can clear up the scenarios.
Well, hang on. First things first, he can blast a Taunt out the way, trade the 3 damage in, then he has 8, 11, 12 damage to face.
So he has a chance of killing his opponent,
right? He has potential very, very unlikely lethal with Arcane Missiles, but I guess there's no harm in trying it.
Well, is it? I'm not sure about this. 1 damage is lost here because of that, I guess. Oh, look at that, a Yogg.
Picks up the Yogg, yeah.
I'm not sure if I like that, I always think about the Roaring Torch into the scenarios and just go.
No, he does have it. No, he got it. He has it because of the
you're
thing.
right, because yeah, never mind.
Yeah,
what I'm talking about, okay.
It was just like a 0 risk Arcane Missiles, right? Like it's just kind of a free roll for lethal. Like even if it didn't work out, you still had the play to bail out with the Arcane Blast. You could still take out the Scenarius. So there was no real downside to what he did. So I kind of like leading with the missiles there.
No, well, it definitely worked, right?
Sure.
He won the game.
He squares it up, even though, like you said, there was a pretty solid Yogg on the other side. He was in a comfortable enough position to survive it. And there was just a slow start from the Druid, and like the Tempo Mage didn't have an explosive start, but he was able to take control early either way.
I mean, it's not about the thing with Tempo Mage is not about having an explosive start, because if you lack the explosive stuff, then most likely you have a good comeback mechanism, right? Because you accumulate those spells, and then you go off with the Flame Waker, or with the Cool Sorcerer and an Arcane Blast, and that's like such a huge tempo swing that you have an option to get back into the game, although you did miss like a 2-drop or something like that.
Right.
But of course, it's good always to have a man of him on turn 1.
It certainly doesn't hurt, no. But yeah, Tempo Mage is going to continue for Hotform, of course. And there is Zoot from ikealyou. He has Bran in it, which is not a card you see all the time now. Very, very popular for a while, you know, several months back, but more of a fringe card in the deck now.
Yeah, because they basically lost a lot of battle cry effects, right? And people are trying to be more proactive on the board than just retroactive with the buffs, right? With the Abusive Surgeon, Dark Iron Dwarf, or Gormok, and other cards like this. I mean, still Defender of Argus with Bran is just nuts, but when you consider the current metagame, it seems like your minions might not be standing there for a while, for a long time, right?
And this card, not only does he have one Imgang boss, but he has 2 Imgang bosses. Acolyte of Pain is a decent way to at least leverage some card draw out of it if there was no buff. But this card in general is kind of a nightmare for Tempo Mage to deal with. It was pretty much Imgang boss and Nerubian Egg that used to torture Tempo Mage. Now obviously Egg is gone, but Imgang boss is still there, alive and kicking. And
hoping that the opponent doesn't have a buff when he's playing Zoo. Yeah. It's kind of like a wishful thinking, right? There's 2 Abusive Surgeon, 2 Direwolves. If you really want to use it, you can also use a PO on it.
Right. It's not so much like you make this play expecting them not to have it, but when a Zoo player goes 1 coin 3, they almost always have the second 3 drop. Yeah. Because otherwise you would coin double 1 or you'd coin 2 into 2 or whatever. So when you go 1 coin 3, it usually means you have the second 3. So Hotform just made a buff need to be played, therefore disrupting the double 3 drop curve. Just so happened that ikealyou had the perfect curve to go along with the Abusive Sergeant anyway.
For Zoo, it's not really that hard to curve out on every single turn.
No. I mean, that's literally the design of the deck, right? That's what it's built to do. Yeah, Frostbolt and Ping tidies up a little bit, but you can just see the menace of that Imgang boss right now, just sat on the board, making Arcane Missiles awkward, just eats a Frostbolt and lives to tell the tale about it. Spell Power Arcane Blast isn't even a completely key, but it's not like fully removed, right? You still have to then have a 1/1 to deal with that challenges the Blood Mage that you use.
Yeah,
so
but still you can remove both Imgang bosses, right? You can play Frostbolt and just the Arcane Blast. Wait, he doesn't have it a Frostbolt. Damn it.
Yeah, there's just no Frostbolt. There's a Torch, but that's too much mana, so it's just a really, really awkward spot. Like I said, double Imgang boss draw is pretty much the dream in this matchup now that Nerubian Egg is gone, and you're just seeing how irritating they are to this deck right now.
Flamestrike would be good in that Tempo Mage.
Just doesn't play them.
He goes for the other Drake, because it contests both of those minions, and he has seen one Abusive Sergeant already, which is kind of important. But there's the Dark Iron Dwarf, which is perfect this turn.
Sure is. It does mean that one of the Imgang bosses kind of bites the dust, though. So, Drake did a job in a sense where he was thinking about maybe using some removal spells on the Imgang bosses, but the Drake took care of one of them anyway. And now holding on to that Arcane Blast is potentially pretty powerful here, but he's going to go ahead and use the Blood Mage and then rip the Arcane Blast as well to take out both of the 4 health minions.
I was thinking for a second, maybe it's worth it to just jam those Arcane Missiles?
Well, I mean, I like this play because it sets up, you remove all the things that Arcane Missiles aren't good against, and then you set yourself up for a decent Flame Waker turn on the following turn.
Oh yeah, that's correct, yeah. Ooh, Reliquary Seeker. Too bad it can be... oh, never mind.
If only 1 more mana.
Yeah. Too bad you can't really combo it with the Forbidden Ritual. I kind of like the design because of that. Because you can't really play a Forbidden Ritual and Gormok, because that will be like kind of broken, right?
Right.
Or you can't play the Forbidden Ritual and play Reliquary... Oh,
you can, in theory, do it with Sea Giant, though. That could theoretically happen.
Well, okay. Never seen that happen.
No, me neither. I'm sure it will one day, though.
Look at this mayhem.
Yeah, Tempo Mage things are about to happen. Flame Waker is just going to do his glorious business. Double Arcane Missiles coming out, but it looks like the Bran might be living to tell the tale. It
does. That's kind of horrible.
That was a really bad outcome for Hotform, honestly.
That is not really a good sign to behold in this scenario, because now your opponent has an easy way to trade, most likely, because he still has access, to buffs. Like, let's say there's a Direwolf Alpha. He didn't see one right yet, so he could just play Direwolf Alpha, trade it to 1/1 for the Associated Parties. And just Soulfire the other one. Still, Forbidden Ritual is really sick here. Too bad he lost the Relic Fury Seeker
Yeah, I
with
mean,
Soulfire, but I can understand why would you play the Soulfire right now, because you need to get rid of that Flamemaker instantly.
yes. And
So definitely a good
again,
choice.
we were talking sort of about Forbidden Ritual anti-synergies. Soulfire
Yeah,
is
yeah.
another one, because Forbidden Ritual is an important card that you want to play, so you don't want to discard it. But if you play Forbidden Ritual, you don't have the mana left over to Soulfire at the end. So he just Soulfired first, just to maximize. He kept the Vital card, which was Forbidden Ritual, because this is now potentially game-winning, because he just saw Flamewaker #1 and both Arcane Missiles get used in a deck that he will suspect, if he knows the list that Hotform favors, has no genuine AoE in it. So how does, once 2 Arcane Missiles and a Flamewaker has gone, you know, how likely are they to have exactly Flamewaker #2 to be able to answer a board for the 1/1s?
Yep, that's very true. And also the coin was already used, right? So that's an additional spell that can be used. So 14 HP, while you have 6-8 damage on board. Well, that is a good draw.
It is.
It is, and I feel like you need to play the Flamewaker and an Arcane Intellect first.
Do you not want to blast the dog first? It's like a perfectly clean 2 damage that always happens. Why would that ever be wrong? Right?
Well, he wants to kill... I don't know, to be honest. Now I'm thinking about it.
Mana Worm and Blast now.
Yeah, I agree with you. It was better to play the Arcane Intellect first. Sorry, second. I mean, if he didn't have... if he didn't want to play any more spells that he could have drawn, right? Because he had the plan to play...
right, he drew a Frostbolt and turned down the
Yeah.
opportunity to draw a Frostbolt. So what would he have been looking for?
I'm thinking about it. Maybe he's something... Maybe he has something in the deck that we don't know that is so valuable, right?
It's possible. It's been a while since I looked at Hotform's list, because I've been facing RDU's version a lot more often when I played against it. So I can't remember the exact list card for card off the top of my head, to be honest. But
look at this. This is kind of ridiculous as well. Both of the Manaverse will get buffed to a reasonable size.
that is a 5 damage Forgotten Torch. Perfectly clean to take out the Doomguard, and suddenly even... It looked like, you know, Yogg might have to do things in this game to pull him back, but over the last couple of turns, he's just dragged his way, kicking and screaming, back onto board with that second Flamewaker. And now ikealyou is in a world of trouble here. Hotform really showing that he does know how to pilot this tempo mage. This is the thing, when you come up with builds that you have put together yourself, you tend to have a large amount of loyalty to them, and because of that, you know, you learn how to play them inside out, you learn all the intricacies, and you know, who's going to be better at the deck that you built than you? And Hotform's showing that he knows to pilot it very well.
That's not a universal rule, though. Because in examples like, let's say in Magic, right? You see a lot of deck builders that are not really the greatest pilots of the deck. And then you can see those pilots winning those really big tournaments, right?
But now
Well, that is lethal, right?
Yeah, that's a 5 damage Frostbolt, a 7 damage Frostbolt if you include the 2 buffs from the Mana Worm. So once the attacks go through, that is going to be job done. And Hotform's march of Tempo Mage continues. I said that he had a very, very strong record for him going into this series. 7-1, I believe he said. So if that was the case, he is now 9-1 with the deck and looking in pretty good shape.
And he will be facing a Shaman, which is not terrible for the Tempo Mage, especially with the inclusion of 2 mirror images. And, well, basically 2 mirror images and Arcane Blast, right? Those Arcane Blast with the sources, Cult Sorcerer and Bloodmage Falnos are the answer that you need against the Totem Golems. He drops a Totem Golem, you drop a spell power, and kill it for 1 mana.
Yep.
That is just so sweet.
Yeah, sometimes have to use the coin to get the job done, depending on who went first. But yeah, I mean, it's just a great interaction for the Tempo Mage. One of the many reasons they're favored. And also, another reason why they do fairly well is that they're so effective at setting up races. If it comes down to the point where like both players start to turn down trading, then Tempo Mage has the tools to do that just as well as the Aggro Shaman does, especially since it can lock out Doomhammer with Frostbolts if that interaction lines up perfectly.
And with Water Elementals.
Yep, very true.
Wait, is he playing Water Elementals?
No, I don't believe so. Again, I'm not 100% confident on his list off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure Water Elementals are one of the things.
Well, we didn't see it for like...
No, he plays them. He played them. I'm pretty sure he plays them.
Oh, yeah, right, because it had to be killed by the Lava Burst during his stream match before.
Is that so? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Yeah,
it might be
they are
one
on the
off, right?
list, yeah. Because I remember when I first looked at the list, I was like looking through it, I was like, wow, this is super aggressive, and then there was Water Elementals, and I was like, Okay, I mean, yeah, everyone's playing Warrior. I guess you just have to play War Elemental, right?
It's a reasonable threat, right? It's not easy to remove.
Yeah,
So
sure.
it's like a consistent
Yeah.
way of damaging your opponent, and it plays around the weapons at the same time. It seems like a reasonable choice.
Yep, totally agree. Card just seems too good not to play. 4 mana 3/6 is just an absurd stat line.
A dagger hero power is unfortunate for ikealyou here. It doesn't really benefit him so much, especially if he will get to draw the Doom Hammer at some point.
Yeah, this is a pretty ugly looking hand from Hotform though in response. He is just going to have to go ahead and Frostbolt a 1/3 just to, you know, get something done this turn basically, just to not keep passing turns achieving nothing.
Well, to be honest, the fact that your opponent changed his Shaman hero power into Rogue hero power actually gives you time.
Right.
Because those totems are actually more valuable than the dagger, in my eyes, in this particular matchup.
Sure.
Because you have Rock Biter weapons, because you have minions that have HP that can be, you know, trading and still be alive, so you can heal them out. You have a totem that will just maybe stop a big minion from attacking, and the fact that you have Flame Tongue totems, right? So now you kind of lose a lot of synergy.
Yeah, and he's still just sat with a 6 mana thing from below in his hand. So.
Oh yeah, right. Wow, I didn't even notice that before you said it. This is like also a really huge deal.
Yeah. I mean, it is still really easy to get that card down. You know, you play like 1 Totem Golem, 1 Tuskar Totemic. It's already a 4 mana 5/5 taunt. Like, that's just how crazy that card is. But as for right now, it's just sat in his hand as a 6 mana 5/5. So.
And he used his hero power already twice, so it could have been a 4/4.
Sure. Interesting. Ancestral Knowledge in the same deck as Thing from Below. These are normally cards that are seen in different versions. Ancestral Knowledge is run in the version that still plays the unlock cards, you know, Lava Shock and Eternal Sentinel, whereas Thing from Below tries to just remove the need for card draw by just putting bigger things in the deck, a bit more late game, etc. So interesting he's choosing to run both here.
What I really like when it comes to the choices that ikealyou is doing is the fact that he's keeping the pesky 2/1 on the board, because that triggers the opponent to use the hero power if he has no Flame Waker.
Sure.
And that keeps him kinda under the tempo every single turn, right?
Sorcerer's Apprentice is a great pickup though, looking at this hand. I'm sure we'll see the coin being used here, probably just to ping and then hide this behind the mirror image, seems fairly likely. He's going to Cult Sorcerer.
So he's playing the mirror image, and
so he's just going to go full tempo here. So he's using the Arcane Blast purely for tempo, just to get it killed for 0 mana instead of 2, and then hiding this double board behind the mirror images. So just a pure investment in climbing back onto the board there. That's not a play that is concerned with value at all. He just wants to generate the best board presence he can right now.
Yeah, that's actually very interesting, because that also tells us that he is kind of reckless or sure. I mean, either of those, right? That his opponent is not playing any kind of comeback mechanism like Lightning Storm.
Sure. Double Forgotten Torch is solid here, and ikealyou chose not to respect either of these minions. It kind of hurts because the only removal spell he has in hand is a Lava Burst, and you know, you feel like Lava Burst is a bit of an overreaction to this situation, but because he just keeps playing minions, this is something I mentioned before, which is you kind of just play straight into Tempo Mage's hand. This is what they want to do. They want to have 1 or 2 minions down, and then you try and play minions to contest, and they say, nah, sorry, buddy, I have spells to kill these. My minions hit you in
and
the
they
face.
cost 0 or 1 mana, so...
Right, exactly. Like, the big way to beat Tempo Mage most of the time is just kill everything they play. If you can do it, if you have a deck that facilitates that, because they don't quite play enough burn in their deck most of the time to just burn you down if they draw their deck. They need that persistent minion damage to go through a lot of the time.
The Roaring Torch is being drawn for 7 mana, so that's 11, 14, 16, 19, 22, 23. 23 damage, 1 of lethal.
And 1 mana off being able to play the Drake as well.
Yeah. Well, still, you'd kill the 4/4 with Overload for 2 mana.
Yeah. Kinda
good, I would say.
Yeah,
decent option.
Guys, why are we complaining about the 4 mana 7/7? It dies to this 2 mana card right here.
Yeah, ridiculous. Like, I can see clearly why Blizzard did introduce this card to the game.
I like this play, though, actually thinking about it. Just, like, disrespecting it and just freezing it on the board. Wow. Okay, chooses to trade it. That's interesting. I thought that was just a disrespect play, and he was just going to push damage and just have the more damaging card back in his hand to go face the next turn. But
it kind of like it's the different approach of what he have done on the turn when he could have played the ping on the 2-1 instead of the Cold Sorcerer, right? Because he played 2 minions
Sure.
with the mirror image just to not play around Lightning Storm.
Right.
And now he did kind of play around it, right? Because there was no reason to trade with that minion.
I mean, it's one of those situations where you feel like you have this game more or less locked up from this position. So different players have different stances on how you should play in very, very favored games. Some people say that, you know, just play as safe as possible, you know, take it slow, and like other people will counter that by saying, okay, but then you give your opponent more time. Like, why don't you just like smash them and kill them? So maybe this indicates that Hotform is in the situation that he likes to just grind out games when he's this far ahead.
Yeah, probably. Different type of playstyle. Still, the thing from below is balanced now.
Yes. It's worse than Lord of the Arena, so I'm not sure if that quite falls into the balanced category.
Well, you still have Tusked Panics.
That's true.
In the deck. Oh, did you see? Did you see the animation
I
of
did,
the rope?
yes, I saw it that time. Got you. I now know what you're talking about. But more importantly, that fireball draw means 14 damage from hand, means he only needs one of these attacks on the board to go through. That is job done for Hotform, who continues the march of the Tempo Mage through this tournament. For him, at least, very impressive win rate for him.
So the silver medalist of the World Championships is plowing through. Let's say like that.
And he's been a Tempo Mage loyalist for a long time, because even back then, in the World Championships, he was running Tempo Mage all the way back then.
Yeah, that's correct. I actually forgot about that. Forgot about that fact. Nimsh, you're back.
Yeah, I'm back, and that was an impressive win from Hotform, again, on the back of the Tempo Mage. I thought, when I was looking at the matchups, I thought, like, ikealyou with the Zoo against Tempo Mage has a good chance, matchup-wise, to take that. And then Zoo versus Shaman would also look good. But losing against Tempo Mage, they just locked the matchup, because it gave Hotform the good matchup overall, Tempo Mage versus the Shaman. And Hotform started this tournament 4-0, losing one match. I'm not sure against whom, but he will be shortly with us. Winning against ikealyou gives him a chance to finish this day really well. And Hotform, welcome to the couch, I guess, to the chairs.
Yeah, second time here. Feels not bad.
Yeah.
But I mean, you want as many trips back here as possible, right? That just means that you're still winning. So.
But you have to tell me, how did it feel when someone embraced the darkness from Yogg and played Lay on Hands on you?
That's a tilter, right?
I was looking at his face when the Yogg was happening. We're both laughing, of course. But at first, he kind of cringes and says, oh, no, I Lay on Hands his face.
Right.
And then he realized, oh, wait, it did 8 damage and drew 3 cards. Yeah, that was pretty good.
So I just want to ask you a technical question very, very quickly. Right towards the end there, Frostbolt on the 7/7 and trade. I thought when you casted the Frostbolt, you were just going to all in and then still have the Fireball for face.
I mean, I thought about it, but okay, so I had such a good setup for the next turn with the Drake and the Torch. I had a perfect 8-mana turn, and then just felt like clearing his board. There's no way I could lose, so...
So I was saying, like, when players are like locked up like that, some people like just say, okay, it's safer to just clear their board every turn, right? That reduces accidents. Whereas some other people will say, well, if you go face, you end the game quicker, and then that reduces accidents because they have less. So it's just like.
Or if he had a crazy Lightning Storm, Elemental Destruction tech card, I'm not sure.
Well, I was thinking that you actually know, you're certain that he doesn't have the Lightning Storm because of the turn.
Certain,
yeah, because of the turn when you play Cold Sorcerer and the Sorcerer's Apprentice at the same time, right?
I could tell that he didn't have it in his hand, but I wasn't sure if it was in the deck, so it's always at risk.
It's like when you're that far ahead, like you just kind of invent a way you could lose in your mind, right? And say, okay, I'm just going to play around that. That seems fine.
I will say one thing I'll add for the Mage games. When you saw the Shaman game at the end there, it looked pretty rough in the opening hand, right? I had only spells, but that was actually what I mulliganed for. I mulliganed for Arcane Blast and the Frostbolt, right? And that's what I kept. And you can see it didn't matter. Like 4 turns, I didn't have creatures, but if you killed the Shaman's creatures, they're always going to play creatures, and then eventually you get your lead.
Yeah,
as soon as you have minions, you still had like leftover spells in your hand, right? So he was like, okay, I'll play minions to contest, and you're like, nah, sorry, buddy, I still have removal.
But if it's the other way around, and you have Mana Worm and then Sorcerer's Apprentice, Acolyte of Pain, he can play Totem Golem or Rockbiter. He can make the early game work for him. But if I'm just killing his creatures, then there's no way he can do that.
Well, the Arcane Blast is just the MVP of this matchup, right? Just kills the Totem Golem if you have your Blood Mage Falnos or Cool Sorcerer.
So that's a really good approach, and at the moment you are 5-1, I believe. So one more match for you. If you win it, you have a really good chance to actually make it tomorrow. Two more games, but you know, like 7-2. Well, definitely 8-1. You will make it with 8-1, but 7-2 still a good possibility. So keep on going, keep on winning, Hotform. Thank you so much for joining us. And the next match, guys, is going on at the very moment. We have Davido versus Blackout.